You know what's crazy? For someone who once claimed she never Googled her future husband, Meghan Markle sure played the fame game like a Hollywood veteran, and now the game might finally be turning against her. Because Tom Bower, the man famous for tearing down carefully curated reputations, isn't holding back. He's not just writing gossip, he's exposing what he says is the biggest PR illusion of our time. Let's rewind to the image Meghan built, the underdog story everyone bought into. A biracial girl from humble beginnings who defied all odds to marry into the most traditional, rigid institution on earth. It was powerful, emotional, a story made for the spotlight. But according to Bower, that story wasn't just inspiring, it was engineered. Not a fairy tale rise from struggle to royalty, but a calculated campaign built on strategy, influence, and a long list of conveniently forgotten friends. He didn't just guess, he investigated. He tracked down people from Meghan's past, old friends, co-workers, even her ex-husband, Trevor Engelson. And the portrait they painted wasn't of loyalty, but of leverage. To Bower, relationships weren't connections. They were stepping stones. Smile, impress, and move on once someone more useful appeared. And when you take that playbook and wrap it in a royal title, the whole thing explodes into something much bigger. Because Bower isn't accusing Meghan of ambition, he's accusing her of deception. He claims her entire royal identity was built on half-truths. That emotional interview with Oprah, the trauma, the isolation, the "I didn't know what I was marrying into" storyline. He calls it a rewritten history, and here's where it gets brutal. Bower says Meghan knew exactly who Prince Harry was, what he represented, and how marrying him would catapult her into global fame. This wasn't just romance. It was a master move on the chessboard. And poor Harry, if Bower's sources are right, he didn't just fall in love, he fell into a trap. He gave up his family, his royal standing, and his reputation, for someone who may have seen him less as a soulmate and more as a stepping stone. That's not heartbreak, that's legacy damage. Because Harry didn't just leave the royal family, he scorched the earth behind him. And now, Meghan's empire seems to be cracking. Her Spotify deal? Gone. Netflix projects? Reportedly paused. Her lifestyle brand in Montecito? Struggling to gain traction. Because it's hard to sell authenticity when the world is questioning whether any of it was real. The same audience that once worshipped her now whispers, "Did she play us?" And the worst part for Meghan? She's losing control, the one thing she's always managed to hold on to. Her usual playbook, emotional statements, sympathy-driven PR, curated photo shoots. It's not working this time. Because Bower doesn't play the Hollywood game. He doesn't want a quote or an interview. He wants the truth. And when someone like that starts digging, no amount of polished press releases can bury what he finds. Insiders say Meghan's furious. Not quietly upset. We're talking about rage-fueled phone calls, frantic emails, legal threats. But the harder she fights, the louder the story becomes. And in Hollywood, that's blood in the water. Once your brand becomes toxic, the fall is fast. Studios don't want risk, brands don't want drama. And when your name starts to symbolize manipulation instead of empowerment, every door you once opened starts to slam shut. Tom Bower didn't just write a book, he detonated a brand. Deals are drying up. Executives who once praised her charm are now ghosting her team. Spotify walked. Netflix stalled. Even Archewell, their supposed Change the World Foundation, is losing staff faster than it can post motivational quotes. Behind the scenes, the word is meltdown. Cancellations. Lawyers in panic, endless damage control meetings. And Harry? He's stuck in the crossfire. Each new revelation chips away at what little credibility he had left. He's the man who turned on his family, and now the world wonders, was it all for nothing? Even inside Buckingham Palace, there's no celebration, but there is quiet vindication. Because every accusation Meghan once made about cruelty, racism, isolation, now sits under a shadow of doubt. If her story doesn't hold, neither do her claims. For the royals who've been fighting to repair their image for decades, this might be their most ironic win yet. See, Meghan's entire brand was built on being misunderstood, the silenced outsider. But with each new revelation, that image is cracking. And her response? Double down. More spin, more control, more emotional appeals. But it's not working anymore. Because once the public smells truth, they stop sipping the PR Kool-Aid. Rumors say Meghan's planning a counterattack. Maybe a documentary, maybe a tell-all. But you can't outspin reality with another soft focus interview when someone like Tom Bower has receipts, timestamps, and witnesses. And now it's not just the tabloids watching. It's her business partners, sponsors, charities. They're all studying how she handles pressure, and right now, it looks like panic, not leadership. When someone like Meghan feels the walls closing in, they don't back down, they strike. And insiders in Hollywood say she's preparing something big, a lawsuit, a PR bombshell, maybe even an attack on the royals themselves. But if that backfires, if more people from her past start talking, the fallout could be devastating. And the real wild card? Harry. If he finally starts questioning everything, if he realizes he's been part of a grand illusion, the entire foundation of Meghan's brand collapses overnight. Because without Harry, she's not the Duchess who defied the crown. She's just another celebrity caught in her own scandal. Producers are stepping back. back. Brands are cutting ties, and Montecito, once her palace of reinvention, now feels like a glass cage. Neighbors whisper, staffers leak, cameras lurk. She built walls to protect her image, and now those walls are closing in. So what's next? Retreat? Unlikely. Meghan doesn't fade quietly. Expect another reinvention, a raw, teary comeback interview. Because America loves redemption, but only when the fall feels real. And right now, Meghan's fall feels too calculated to earn sympathy. People aren't feeling sorry anymore. They're watching, waiting, smirking. And Bauer? He's not done. Sources say he's sitting on even more receipts, documents, photos, stories yet to be told. Every time Meghan fights back, she gives him more spotlight. Every move she makes feeds his narrative. That's the trap, the chessboard she built. Every step forward opens another pitfall. And the final twist? The royal family, the very people she once painted as villains, are winning by doing nothing at all. Silent, calm, regal. While Meghan battles headlines, they simply endure. Because in the end, all they had to do was wait. Meghan's empire wasn't destroyed by one interview, one lawsuit, or one betrayal. It collapsed under the weight of its own illusion. And this might just be the end of her story, or the start of her most desperate reinvention yet.